So it's that time again for another versus video. This time it's going to be the iconic Darth Vader versus the newcomer Kylo Ren. Now we're not going to be talking about the films because that's an obvious who's the best, Darth Vader. We're actually going to be talking about Star Wars Battlefront 2. Which villain is the best to use in the game? This is going to be talking about the heroes versus villain as well as something like Galactic Assault. So with all of my versus videos, I talk about each character's strengths, their weaknesses, and their looks before I determine who's truly the best. So of course, we're going to start off with Darth Vader. Darth Vader's the most iconic villain in all of film, period. And that doesn't change much for the game. He's one of the characters you definitely want to use. He's got some great abilities and probably some of the best abilities out of the villains. But with those abilities come a lot of weaknesses. There are a lot of times you're left very vulnerable. So let's discuss his first ability, which is the lightsaber throw. This is probably one of my favorite things to use in the game. He's one of the few in the game that can actually use this long range. So he's able to take out those pesky rebels that are shooting you from afar. He can also take out lines of rebels or clone troopers. His second ability that I want to talk about is the Force Choke. Obviously, if you're playing as Darth Vader, this is why you play as him. You want to be able to choke everybody you see. And this is easily one of his best abilities. Especially if you have a group of rebels, you can just force choke them, or force choke them right off a cliff. And of course his last ability is his Force Rage. This is going to give him more health and let him receive more damage, and also give more damage to his attack. But with all three of these abilities comes some disadvantages. With the lightsaber throw, yes, it's one of the best range abilities in the game, but it also leaves you open for attack. Now, it's not as long as the Force Choke. The Force Choke is the one that probably leaves you more vulnerable than anything else. Because when you do use the Force Choke, you're left for everything else. Because as we know, you're not going to be able to stop any shots coming to you while using this ability. Hell, with the new update, you really can't stop many shots anyways. But what makes this the worst disadvantage is when playing something like heroes versus villains. Yes, it works really good when you have one or two right in your range to do it. But if you only have one hero and someone's off to the side of you or behind you, you're left open, wide open for a lot of attacks. I still think the sheer power of these abilities kind of make up for that. The only other disadvantage he has is he is probably one of the slowest villains in the game. So you're not going to be using him for his speed. Even when he dashes, it's just enough to get you a couple of feet further. Now let's discuss Kylo Ren's strengths and his weaknesses. With Kylo Ren, he does not have the range that Darth Vader has. You're not going to be able to take out people from afar. But what he does have is he's able to block shots a little better than Darth Vader. Like I said, with the new update and the stamina system they put in, it's still not that great. But let's discuss his three abilities. His first ability I do like, it's the Force Pull. If you have someone that's a little further out, well, you can Force Pull them and then start hacking away. It's a great ability to use for Kylo Ren. But of course his best ability is his Freeze. This to me is what separates Kylo Ren from most others. Him and Darth Vader do share that same similarity. While Darth Vader uses his choke to basically stop a character in the air, Kylo Ren can do the same with his Freeze ability. This gives you plenty of time to go up to a character and go out in a frenzy. In discussing the frenzy, that's his last ability. This one's pretty good, just gives you a good quick dash and you can just hack away really fast. Now with his abilities don't come too many disadvantages. Yes, he doesn't have the range that Darth Vader does, but he also isn't left open like Darth Vader is as well. Anytime he uses his freeze, it's very quick. He's able to run and attack very fast. He's not left wide open like Darth Vader. But I have to say, Darth Vader's abilities, well, something about him was just a little better. Now how do these two characters play in the two different game modes? You have Heroes vs. Villains or Hero Showdown now, as well as Galactic Assault. To me, in my opinion, Darth Vader is better in Galactic Assault. He's able to take out lines of rebels or clone troopers and choke quite a few all at the same time. To me, he just brings in this tank-like ability in Galactic Assault. But I feel like Kylo Ren has the advantage in Hero vs. Villains. You're able to freeze so many heroes at once that you and your team can just go all out attack and end them very quickly, while not leaving yourself open for any other attack from behind or from the side. But before we discuss which one is truly the best, we have to determine who looks the best. I do love Kylo Ren's look. I think the look they gave him reminds me a lot of Darth Revan. You can tell they took a lot of things from Star Wars Knights of the Republic when they made Kylo Ren. Now, I know a lot of people don't like his character in the films because he's such a whiny brat. I actually like that. I think it shows a different depth to this character. But that's the films, and that's something totally different. But now let's discuss the most iconic villain of all time in any film franchise, Darth Vader. I mean, come on, when it comes to looks, it's an obvious who's the best. It's going to be Darth Vader. His whole look altogether, the red lightsaber, the classic red lightsaber, and of course the slowness that he moves in the game just adds to his character. But who is truly better? That's a tough one. Because Darth Vader truly can be the best, but you have to know how to use him correctly. If you don't know how to use him correctly, it's an obvious that Kylo Ren is better. He's able to freeze the players long enough, especially with the right star card, that it's easy to take out anyone you need to. The big question is going to be is what do you play the most of? If you play hero versus villains, I think Kylo Ren is the best, but if you play Galactic Assault, I'm going to have to go with Darth Vader. But if I have to choose overall who the number one is, I'm going to have to go with the iconic Darth Vader. One, he's iconic. That's just easy. I mean, I could say that answer now and I'm done. But it's the fact that he can kill players that are out of range is what makes him one of the best. Also, his force choke can work so well against a horde of enemies. So that is who I think is the best villain in Star Wars Battlefront 2 out of the two, Darth Vader and Kylo Ren. Which one do you prefer? Let me know that in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, do me a huge favor, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time.